Today on Midlife Conversations, I cannot wait to chat with Jen of Jen Amber Skincare. I can't wait to dive into this conversation. Jen is a licensed holistic esthetician, and she's the visionary and CEO of Jen Amber Beauty. Now, I
Yeah.
actually met her speaking in the Dominican Republic. I was speaking on health and fitness and wellness. And as I was sharing about foods for our gut and for our health and to thrive, Jen was sitting in the audience nodding her head, like one of those perfect students sitting there just nodding her head. Everything I said, nodding, nodding, nodding. And I
I
thought,
agree with
okay,
everything. Yeah.
she gets it. She gets it. So the more we started talking, I could not help but to notice her skin and how it was glowing. So we got to know each other a little bit better, dove deeper into her thoughts and beliefs and why she developed the line that she did. And I thought this was really important to have you on today, Jen. I'm starting to do a little bit of a series behind non-toxic brands, why this is so important. Most of the people listening to this, we are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. And we've done some of the damage to our skin from sun and from years of the wrong products. So thanks for being here today. Let's talk about how to prevent further damage and how to reduce it, all the things.
Yay. Thanks for inviting me here. I'm happy to be here and share my knowledge and agree with you.
So let's back up a minute. Take us back a little bit. Like, how did you have such amazing skin? I mean, was this always the thing with you? Were you one of those lucky ones that said, I have this great skin, so let me develop products and teach people? Or what? Tell us the background story here.
Well, background is really painful, actually. And, I was lost. I had rosacea, pigmentation, I had cystic acne. And like most of us, I was like thinking that that's going to happen for the rest of my life. And when you have a really bad skin issues, it's taking a toll on your mental health. I started
Yeah.
feeling anxious, depressed, and sad. I didn't want to leave my house, no matter how much makeup I put on my skin. It's still, I felt painful, those kind of spots from acne. By the way, I don't have makeup right now, just a little bit of mascara, and I put the eyebrow pencil. But it took a long time to actually realize how much nutrition and diet and lifestyle and even our thoughts, including what we eat, how we eat, sleep, what kind of products we apply on our skin. Our skin
Mhm.
absorbs everything in less than 26 seconds and goes into the
Wow.
bloodstream, which is so quick. Imagine like everything that you apply, it goes into your every single organ of your body. So what does it do when you apply a lot of toxicity, right? A lot of
Hmm.
toxic products like parabens, which is actually linked to the breast cancer.
Hmm.
What happens to the skin? The skin is the last organ where it's going to show from the body's like, hey, I'm full of toxins, look at me, this is what happens. Skin, when it's purging, that's mean toxin coming out through the surface. And it doesn't matter, is it eczema, psoriasis, acne, rosacea, and even premature aging. Premature
So,
aging is one of the signs that we are not eating something right.
so this is important because you just said it's one of the last things to show our skin, which is our biggest organ. It's the last thing
Yeah.
to show signs of this. And what I think my misunderstanding was, and many people's, is we think we put a product on. If you have a reaction right away, that means it's no good. Otherwise, we kept using it. That's a lot of us. Well, we might stop something because we had a reaction. But are you saying that it could be like this buildup of it that it then shows up? Explain that a little bit
Yes.
more.
If you apply, let's say, it depends what you apply. If you apply something with the toxins and maybe irritating acids or irritating alcohols that dries your skin, it can
Mhm.
happen to anybody. But if you, let's say, you have a brand that you always were using, I have clients like that in their 50s that they were been using the same brand for years, and they suddenly right now their skin does not accept the product anymore. What happened?
Yeah.
Because skin
Yeah.
gets sensitized. 80% of population have a sensitized or sensitive skin. And sensitive skin is a sign of weak immune system. And
Mm.
Natalie, yourself, why we have weakening immune system, autoimmune disorders, why this happened to us, multiple reasons. But one of the reasons that our body is just simply full of toxins, accumulates over years and years and years and years.
So what you just said is really giving me a little bit of a light bulb moment, especially around teenagers. And a lot of people listening do have teens and they're struggling with acne. And then you go to the doctor and they say, okay, you got acne. Here's a pill for the acne. And here's another toxic cream for the acne, which is temporarily drying you up, changing things. But what else is that creating when you do something like that?
Yeah, any antibiotics, steroids, hydroquinone, they're known to actually at some level to damage your endocrine system, your liver,
Mm,
your kidneys, your entire immune system. Most of the people that come to me, let's say they were using different or any acne prescription medicine, they come to me and they say, I never thought, when I simply say, can you just stop using dairy? You know, dairy
yeah.
is sort of really correlated with acne. And they stop for a month and they say, Jen, my acne is gone. What the heck? Why my dermatologist doesn't tell me that?
Okay, so I'm gonna start asking you about better approaches for this, but I have a few more questions. A lot of people in my age range use Retin-A and hydroquinone. Am I pronouncing it
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Hydroquinone or
yeah,
quinone,
yes,
well, however you
correct.
pronounce it. And I actually used that for several years, and I did the hydroquinone, however you pronounce it, to do the spots. And it works. It does work.
Yeah, it
And
does.
I use Retin-A, and I completely stopped both because when I started paying attention to my toxic load and looking at my liver numbers and things like that, that was definitely contributing. So I stopped those cold turkey, switched to all natural stuff, and my skin's actually better now. So can you speak into the issues that you see with Retin-A and the other one that I can't pronounce? So
Yeah,
because that those
retin-A
are
and
so popular.
hydroquinone basically are really strong prescription medicines that really, really strongly forbidden to use for a pregnant woman. And in my mind, whoever is pregnant can't use something. Like, why would you use if they can't use? Like,
Interesting thought. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Why is that?
Why doctors always say, hey, if you're pregnant, you can't use this, and that. Like, why healthy person that does not have
Wow.
baby in their uterus, why can I use that? Like,
Good
this is just
point.
like, just ask yourself why, right? It's mean
Hmm.
there's some damage being done to hormones which gonna affect fetus. And why would I use, right? I don't want to use that on my
Yeah.
skin, personally, me. And there are some simple things like you can use natural alternatives that gonna work as well as retin-A.
So,
Retin-A is it's strong. It's really strong. And one of the biggest side effects of retin-A is actually really thin and sensitized skin.
mhm. Which
So
then
many
makes you
cases.
susceptible to more things, right? So then I
So
would imagine
yes. And then wherever you're gonna apply, your skin is gonna get sensitive. You're gonna go outside, a little bit of sun, you're gonna get sensitivity. You're gonna go somewhere in the place where it's smoke or something in the air, you're gonna get sensitive skin. And that can lead to rosacea, psoriasis, and any other even immune system issues.
no, I know someone listening right now is probably thinking, okay, but everything's toxic. There's so many toxic things out there. Everything's toxic. What I want to share about that is that it's not about avoiding all toxic things. Like we're gonna get that no just from living. That's gonna happen. But it's about this load idea, which finally clicked with me when I went down this journey myself, that it's the load of product after product after product piling up in our system. So it's not that because you just color your hair or you were around this or you're around that. It's the amount of stuff we're using overloads our system. And then it shows up in our skin and our health in other ways. So it's about
Yeah.
reducing the load. So
Exactly.
anytime we can do that, and it's important. And I think me personally, Jen, I don't know about a lot of people. We've all and this is a lot of women have told me this. They cleaned up their cleaning supplies. They did all the other things first, but like the last thing they looked at was their skincare or their makeup. It's really
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I know. It's, like you say, there's no way that we can avoid 100% of toxins. It's just like they're everywhere in the air, radiation, EMF, like it's everywhere. But as much as we can reduce, be conscious, just be aware of that. Like, okay, I'm going to reduce this month skincare
Mhm.
as much as I can. Next month, am I going to reduce, detergent, house cleaning products or something like that? Maybe after a few months, I'm going to look a little bit more into natural
Mhm.
cotton, silk fabrics instead of wearing polyester all the time. It's
Yeah.
a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. The goal is to reduce as much as we can. It's not, there's no way that you can completely get rid of toxins in your life. There's no way. They're everywhere.
So you developed a whole company. What was the step into that? Like how did this progress with you? Did you start with cleaning up your diet? Did you start with looking for products? Like tell us the story about how that progressed and why you developed your own stuff versus just buying what's out there.
So my sickness 6 years ago, it was my kind of rock bottom, where I started doing a lot of research. And I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, pre-diabetes, like leaky gut, anxiety, depression, and all this
Wow.
stuff. And it's just like I went to the doctor after doctor after doctor, and they say you have to take, meds and just be
Hmm.
kind of feel this miserable for the rest of your life. And I'm like, somehow deep inside my soul, I knew that there is something out there that can help me. And one day I was in bed and I couldn't get up, and I'm like thinking, wow, I'm so young, why I'm so sick? And I just like, I started, doing my own research, like listening podcasts, listening to the people that healed autoimmune disorders. And then I realized, after cleansing my body, like changing nutrition, changing diet, changing the mindset, starting doing meditations, actually looking how I can actually sleep, because my sleep was really bad, insomnia, like really bad. And changing slowly a little bit, even at that moment, it did not make sense, because all the doctors, they told me, like, you cannot reverse anything what you have.
Wow.
And I'm like, how in the world? Like, I know people, I have a friend that reversed Lyme disease. And then I met another person that she reversed Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And then I don't know people that even reverse diabetes. I'm like,
Mhm.
if someone out there did this, that why can't
Then
I?
why can't I? Yeah.
Yeah, like I can do that too. And my business came in mind. I was always passionate about skincare. I was esthetician all my life.
Mhm.
And I really love skin. It's just something that I adore. Skin is something that I think every person is like representation of healthy skin. So I started doing research and I collected all my favorite brands, but I realized I read every single ingredient, on the back of the bottle. And I
Mhm.
noticed there's like, and then, okay, this is bad, this is bad, this is irritating skin,
So
this
this is
is
stuff you were
dry.
using on clients and using on
Yeah,
yourself for years,
yeah,
thinking that you are
yeah,
thinking you're helping and you're realizing, oh my gosh, this is
yes.
all bad stuff.
And I remember me when I was in esthetician school back then, like 15 years ago, asking my teacher, I say, what about those toxins that we have? Even then,
Mhm.
like, didn't make sense to me why I asked the question. And she remembers saying, like, you have to apply like pounds and pounds of cream on your skin to be able to absorb something.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, it's not true. So even in esthetician schools, they don't really
Yeah.
know how skin is like a sponge, absorbs absolutely everything really fast. So long story short, I created my toxic free, certified toxic free skincare line with the microneedling tools in that, which kind of like ladies that you like use Botox or fillers. I have nothing against that. I have done this
Mhm.
in my past for quite a while, but you get to the point like, okay, what I should do, what knowledge I should have to actually replace
Mhm.
Botox and still have similar results. Like, what can I do if I, keep using Retin-A, which is a little bit toxic for us, not as bad as Botox, but still kind of like, I'm
Mhm.
really on the natural side. That's my
Yeah.
passion. What can I do to actually, okay, stop Retin-A? What can I actually use? How can I be aware so I can actually use something else but still have the same results?
Right.
Same if someone has melasma pigmentation, what can I do actually to stop some steroids so I can start using something else in order to have the similar results? It's just simply we don't know what we don't know. That's
Right.
all.
So this is so there's so many products out there that say non-toxic or they say vegan or they say how do we cut through the noise? Like how do you know when something really is non-toxic and really supportive for us versus something that's actually hurting us? Because I noticed that that's like the new trendy thing to just put on labels now. Like it just says organic and vegan and then people think it's natural. Can you
Yeah.
help us? Like what are some of the bad things that we need to make sure like of all costs you're not putting this on your skin?
Yeah, skincare industry in United States is actually not regulated. FDA is not
Wow.
coming to your lab, or certain labs like GMP certified labs, they do come, but in like warehouse, my house, there are some people, they say, I'm doing natural, and actually filling their tub with the stuff that they ship from China, and they just filling in the bottles in the
Wow.
United States,
Wow.
and they put the label, they say, hey, it's made in the United States, it's clean. So there's no
Wow.
regulation. What about germs and mold growing in your
Oh my
tub?
gosh.
How can you
That's
disinfect
awful.
that?
That's a real
Yeah,
thing.
that's a real thing. It's not actually regulated. So what you can do is
Wow.
individually. It's just you as a human being watching this right now video and thinking, how can I actually know? Where can I find these good brands? You actually have to do your own research. Check the brands, check the ingredients, check what certifications they have. We have a Leaping Bunny certified where you literally can go to Leaping Bunny organization,
Hmm.
enter my brand, and you can find my brand that is Leaping Bunny certified. That's mean we are not testing for animals. We do have toxic free certification. These are third party companies,
Hmm.
organizations where you can do that. you have to submit as a company, as an owner right now of skincare, I have to submit a lot of paperwork proving that we are not doing that. I have to provide each of my labs where they reach out to the labs. They actually have documentation from the labs, what testings they do, like mold toxicity, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah, and stuff like this. So literally you have to dig yourself and do the research. You have to trust the company. You have to, I personally, I don't buy from anybody if I don't know what's the passion of the owner of the company is. And I'm focusing mainly going towards like some small companies, not big organization, because sooner or later, any kind of company, not only skincare beauty company, is acquired, bought by big company like L'Oreal, and L'Oreal,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. They care only about the money.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I think a lot of products do.
I
Yeah, it's
generally
a
care
lot of
about
products.
results.
So this is where it gets hard for us as a consumer because we hear this. We'll hear, okay, big company, not good. We don't want that. But then we want clean stuff. And then now, so we think we're doing our due diligence. We search for clean. But then like how I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that someone's buying stuff from China and putting it in a package themselves and it's not regulated. So this is so interesting. So do we need to make sure everything has these third-party certifications? And how do we even know if those are the right certifications? Like maybe someone's making those up.
Maybe yes, it does, but well, I believe like more or less people know like Leaping Bunny certifies quite a big
Mhm.
organization. I guess you also have to do research on that part as well. Is I'm telling you, if I had no knowledge right now, and I will be like, okay, I'm gonna fill my tub, which is dirty, and whatever knows what is in there,
Yeah.
right? Kind of clean it, and a little bit with something, order from India, China, some ingredients. I just pour it, mix it, and then put it everywhere. Like people literally make their skincare sometimes, those I know actually one guy on TikTok that he sells shampoos and everything, and he literally makes on the carpet in this living room
Oh my gosh.
using his sink and stuff like this. Like I will never buy the shampoo, and people like thinking, oh, it's natural, it's a handmade. um
Right.
but
Oh my
what
gosh.
about if there's gonna grow like mold in 2 weeks after you buy? And mold toxicity is really brutal, actually.
Yes.
Neurotoxins from mold is like bad.
Yes, for sure. When you look at the most important things that we should be doing on our skin, what are your suggestions? Hyaluronic acid, like oils, like what are the things that are you consider you're like, these are the natural, you must be doing them?
I always ask my clients, for example, or someone right now, viewers that are watching, what is your issue? Because Natalie, your skin issue maybe is going to be totally different than my skin issue.
Okay.
So one thing does not fit, all. I have a skin quiz on my website, so I always guide them to the skin quiz so they can actually have a little bit more, understanding what is going on with their skin. Depends the age, depends your skin dry or oily, it
Well, let's talk
depends
about
what
let's talk
issue.
about brown spots because that's a big one, especially in my age group. Like we did a lot of sun damage before. So what do we do? Is there a way to reduce or reverse brown spots?
Brown spots, let's say if it's sun damage, and we used to
Hmm.
go to
Yeah.
tanning beds, right?
Yes.
Back then it
I'm
was very
guilty. Did
normal.
that in my early 20s. Yes.
Yeah, I used to go there too. And there is a way, for example, alpha hydroxy acid
Hmm.
cleanser that I do have is really natural. And alpha hydroxy, it's really, really amazing to
Hmm.
help to diminish spots, but microneedling does that as well. I do have a before and after from my clients where they had a pigmentation, even melasma, and they help, these products, let's say, help to really not even that diminish, but help to prevent from happening even more, because sometimes we start, okay, one dot here, one dot, a little bit pigmentation here, but with the age, in our 40s, 50s, I noticed, okay, what happened this morning? I woke up, why is this here? Like what
Yeah.
yesterday didn't have that. With time, we have more and more things coming up on our skin. So yeah, I will say alpha hydroxy.
Okay.
It's
And
really, really important.
microneedling. And when you
Microneedling.
talk about microneedling for a minute, because traditionally people think you've got to go to an esthetician and have microneedling, or I've seen some people selling them online where it's like a machine you do at home. You have something cool. It's a derma roller that you just
Yes.
roll over your skin. I know you sent it to me and I've been doing it a couple times a week. You just roll it over your skin
Mhm.
and that does it. Is that as effective as doing it at the spa and doing it the medical grade one? What's the difference and how is it, because does that actually work like a derma roller versus actually using a machine?
That's my favorite topic. Well, in the office, by the way, doesn't mean it's better than at home. It's like
Okay.
going to a doctor doesn't mean the doctor gonna
Good
solve my
point.
autoimmune issues,
Good
right?
point.
So when I graduated at the esthetician school, when we were learning about microneedling, they didn't know the difference about real needles, not real needles, how to use a pen. Even this morning, I posted on my Instagram how if you're using pen, you like don't want to drag, you want to stamp
Okay.
it because it damages the skin. So I
Mm.
will say, whoever you know that has knowledge that makes sense to you, and people, what's the biggest issue? People just don't know what's wrong, what's right.
Yep.
So with anything like nutrition, I recommend to do research, literally watch video after video after video. What
Okay.
from my knowledge, I'm not saying ever that I'm right or wrong. This is what I know, my experience in microneedling in 10 years, that there must be, if you're doing at home, perfectly fine. Just do your research and make sure that you're using real individual needle
Okay.
microneedling tools, that because there are so many dermarollists, cheap dermarollists, people, companies, they just simply want to profit, that they actually have needles in it, because there's dermarollists that don't even have needles in it, have
Wow.
like a round kind of like wheels where it's kind of cut like a diamond shape, like a knife. And when you enter the skin with these diamond kind of like that, like
Mm-hmm.
not actually needle, but it's like that. So these enter the skin, is damaging our skin. I have so many clients coming to me after they're like, oh my God, I was using this fake dermaroll. Then I found there is a real
Yeah.
actual needles. Like, yeah, we have a medical grade, actually acupuncture size needles in our
Okay. Some people
dermarollers.
are listening right now. They have no idea what we're talking about. So I want to back up a minute and they're thinking needles, face, what? What do you do? I and I'm gonna explain it the best way I know, well, how I've learned it, and then please correct me or tell us what it's my understanding that if we do this micro damage to our skin, like little tiny micro needle, that's why it's micro needle, little, it makes your body, it forces it to produce collagen because
Yes.
is that correct? So you're increasing blood supply and you're
Is
forcing it to increase collagen. So it's the best way to increase collagen in your skin. Is that accurate? Did I have that? Did I get that
that's
right? Do I get
correct.
an A?
Yeah, you get A plus, actually.
A
That's
plus.
really well. Microneedling is also called collagen induction therapy. So basically, what do you do? Let's say here is a dermaroller, right? I
Okay.
dermaroll on my skin and I
Okay.
create micro wounds, which is totally normal. Like if you want to grow the muscle, you want to break the muscle, right? You want to,
Hmm.
if you're lifting, you're breaking literally a muscle. So you want to break your skin in order to heal it. So this is when you roll that collagen induction therapy is happening at that moment. Your skin is like, whoa, I need to send all the good cells and to repair the tissue. And when the repair is happening, this is where your skin rejuvenates and renews and become youthful, glowing. This is where pigmentation can be reduced, fine lines can be reduced. When your muscle is growing, when the muscle is being tiered, right, it's growing, you get a nice six pack. Like, how does it make sense? Like, you get nicer actual looking stomach. So it's the same with the skin. When you break down the skin, you actually have nicer looking skin.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So, and if I'm hearing you correct, it doesn't matter if you're using the roller or you're using the machine. It's just that what's important is that it's actual needles and you're doing it right. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
And if you take the pen, you can actually damage yourself if you don't do it as a stamp.
Yes, yes, yes. I see. A lot of
Okay.
people came after going actually to esthetician or even dermatologist office. I see so many on social media dermatologists, they dragging their pen. I'm like, have you actually tried to see under the microscope what happens like with the skin when you
Mm,
actually drag it and when you stamp it? But people, what they want money. When you drag it, it's quicker. You can be done in 10 minutes and okay, next client, next client, next client.
got it. Okay, with your roller, how many times are we supposed to use it? Like a week, and how many times can we actually use yours before we have to toss it and get a new one?
Well, I have 4 different sizes, so every single size is for different skin conditions. Someone, for example, with sensitive skin, even aging skin, many women have a sensitive skin. They shouldn't start with a big size, let's say like
Okay.
one. I will always recommend to start, let's say if you're 40s, 50s, 60s, and you do have a sensitive skin or a little bit sensitized skin, I will start with 0.25 millimeter
Okay.
dermaroller, and that once a week.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So just once a week. Okay. And then how many times can you actually use your roller before you have to toss it and get a new one?
So with every single dermaroll, I highly recommend to replace every 10 times because needle gets duller. So
Okay.
when you start with, let's say, 0.25, after 10 times, you can jump to the bigger size, which is 0.5. After that, again, after 10 times, you can jump to 75 and then reduce that, let's say, bigger size. You have to also like make longer windows because
Okay.
longer needle needs longer healing time. So if you get to the point where you're gonna use 1 millimeter like this, once a month is enough because this is really deep. And with this, I
Oh,
recommend.
once a month. Wow. So it'll last you quite some time. So, but on the
Yeah,
small level, you use it for
that's
about
like
10 weeks.
really deep. I don't know if you see like really deep and it's
Okay.
painful. So most of the people will need a numbing cream for that.
Oh, I don't know what you sent me. Probably not that one then.
No, I didn't send you that. For the beginners, this is like for advanced.
Okay.
Until, yeah,
So
this is
will you actually see blood? Like, does it actually poke holes and you see blood
a
with that?
little bit, yeah, a little bit is normal, but you shouldn't bleed. You shouldn't be bloody like,
And should
some
you
people.
be doing it on just clean skin, or do you put a
Yes,
product, or what do you do?
yes. Wash your skin twice, clean, disinfect. Most people disinfect with alcohol, but if you have alcohol, that's okay. But I do have oxygen liquid that is disinfection as it works
Hmm.
as good as alcohol. You simply will spray on the dermaroll, and you want to make sure that you disinfect every single time. That's very, very important. And then
Okay.
dermaroll, finish dermarolling, you rinse it again with the alcohol or with the oxygen, whatever you have at home, and then apply, of course, very skin friendly, non-irritating, not toxic ingredients after all.
What are your thoughts on sunblock? It gets very confusing out there. So I'm of the mindset I'm gonna have sunblock on my face every day because I'm gonna use a natural one because I don't want to create more fine lines or wrinkles or sun damage. I have my share of that. But then you hear all this controversy about how bad sunblock is and it's damaging and it's creating bigger issues. What are your thoughts on that? Because I've lately been using actually your face sunblock, the mineral
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, so sunscreen is really topic where it's not actually regulated much by FDA, but this is probably something is the most regulated, but still I know many companies, they're getting away with that, but there is a really high risk if FDA gonna find out that you're doing something not okay, because sunscreen is considered a drug already. So anything
Okay.
that is drug is regulated. So we did have sunscreen, the one that you have, right?
Yes, that's the
This
one.
had to be FDA approved. They had to be tested by FDA. This is how they determine the number, 25, 50, 70, and stuff like this. So, but there is no regulation how clean sunscreen it has to be. Um, so I will always recommend if you're like lost right now, you're like, okay, there are many sunscreens, there are healthy, not healthy, toxic, non-toxic. One thing what I will say, always look for mineral.
Okay.
Mineral is always
Why?
healthier because less toxins and mineral when you apply is basically mineral when you apply mineral sunscreen, the rays is just goes like that in bounces.
Oh,
But with any chemical, actually the rays go in and then
wow.
comes out, so goes into the skin, actually acts as the blood, this basically just sit on the top and that's it.
And so it
Like,
basically reflects it off. That makes
yes,
sense. Okay.
yes, yes.
Good to
And
know.
I always will look, zinc oxide is the most natural
Okay.
sunblock, so that's what I will look in the mineral sunscreen. And I will also look for some ingredients that they add, not just sun protection, but peptides. Maybe there's like something else, other ingredients that is anti-aging that will be like, like we have, this is 3-in-1. This is
Okay.
peptides, acetyl tetrapeptide, which is anti-aging ingredient, is sunblock, and it has a tint, which is kind of a little bit right now. This is all I have today. This sunblock with a tint, so
With the tint.
it's a little bit slight tint, so it's like slight makeup.
When we're washing our face, you talk a lot. I mean, I was all proud of my routine night and morning. And then I kept seeing you post on social, do not wash your face in the morning. And I don't understand why. So help with why we're not supposed to wash our face in the morning.
um I mean, if you do have a healthy skin and if you have a perfect skin, you can keep washing totally okay. If you don't have sensitive skin, acne, but people who do have acne, let's say skin, sensitive skin, very oily skin, like if they have a blackheads, even women in their 50s, 60s, they have that. By stopping face wash, you're allowing your skin over the night when produces those healthy nourishing oils actually to nourish your skin during the day.
Okay.
Imagine we go to bed more or less, let's say 10, 11, and then we wake up in 7 hours and then we wash our skin again. So it's too quick for the skin to actually keep those oils during the night. When we release those oils at night, what skin, basically biology of the skin at night works,
Mm-hmm.
and at the daytime rests. Protection at the
Okay.
daytime, actually work nourishment at night. And if we wash off those oils in the morning when our skin was working so hard actually to keep those oils, so it's actually natural, like natural oils have a very healthy bacteria for our skin to maintain during the daytime to have that. So what I noticed, I learned that a while ago from Asian culture, that they never wash skin in the morning, and
Wow.
Asian skin is the most beautiful skin you can actually see on average, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started testing on myself, and my acne reduced and my lines reduced. And
Wow.
I'm gonna actually start asking my friends and some clients. And then I told everybody, and 99.99% people came and say, you know what? Actually, my skin got better.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
I stopped based on what you were saying. I didn't know why I was stopping, and I don't have acne, but for me, I have very dry skin. And so what has changed my skin is using a lot of oils. Like I'm really into oils lately. So I load oil on when I go to sleep. So I don't want to wash it off in the morning. Like I let it soak in. And
Yeah.
it's definitely changed. It also, to me, helps your makeup stay on better if you do use makeup, like because of that, it
Yes.
makes your skin different. So I stopped. So for me, I've been using hyaluronic acid and and oils. And I've been
Hmm.
using your mineral sunscreen, and then I've been doing the microderm. I don't like the way it feels. I'm not gonna lie. I do
I
it,
know, I know,
the
it's a little bit
microneedling,
painful.
because I know it's good for me. It's good for me. And so that also helps reduce fine lines. I'm understanding. So, right.
Yes.
So if I hear you correctly, we don't have to necessarily go to the spa and spend money or medical and pay money for these big, expensive microneedling treatments, because you can do it at home. You're going to get the same result, it sounds like.
Yes, you just have to really know what tool to use and how to use it. If you do not know, and if you do not have a time, if you have no idea, it's better to go to the place where they're gonna do
Mhm.
it. Just simply read reviews of the place if they did a good
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you do it on your face now?
I do once or twice a month.
Okay, but with the deep one.
No, I use zero point 0.5 actually, not a deep
Okay.
one, the regular one. I think that one that you have it.
Okay, so 0.5, and you do it twice a month. Good to
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Well, this was super helpful today. So you all, if you want to check out her site, I've been featuring just a few companies' products that I'm personally using and that I'm learning about. I love Jen's stuff. I am using her sunblock. I am using a bunch of her stuff now, but I love that. Well, I don't love it. I love the results of the
You love the
of the
results.
derma roller. I don't want to tell you it feels good, because it does not feel good, but
Yeah,
it's good for us. So I'm doing
it
that.
works. It does
Yes.
work.
And then,
Yeah.
Jen, just a couple quick questions before we wrap up about how you eat, because you mentioned earlier, like you really changed how you eat for your gut. Can you share a little bit about that too, and how that helped heal you too?
Fermented foods is something that I'm always prioritizing on the top of the list that I have to have absolutely every single day. Either it's a
Okay,
sauerkrauts or pickles or kimchi,
that's great.
because fermented foods have a lot of great bacteria that is nourishing our gut. Our
Mm-hmm.
guts right now these days, because of the pollution of the waters, fluoride,
Yep.
toothpaste, what we eat, cereals, like crappy foods, right? That standard American diet, sad diet.
Sad diet.
It's loaded with all the kind of crap. And
Yeah,
I think restore our gut flora is the number one food that I personally need in my life, is a fermented foods that
that's
restores,
great.
like, absolutely. I just feel amazing. I just feel
Yeah.
great.
I've
And
been
when I
working on, I forget about it sometimes, honestly, but I keep things like kimchi in my fridge, and I try to do a tablespoon of it, with breakfast, or if I remember, or not, like you just reminded me, I didn't have it this morning. So I'm going to have it as soon as we're done here. But just adding that in, because you don't need
yeah.
much. You just need a little bit to make
No,
a
just a
difference in
little
your
bit.
gut.
Yeah, and especially when you're starting, don't go too much, like a little bit,
And then you
half
get
of
bloated.
tablespoon, that's it.
Yeah.
Because you can have a pretty bad eye of symptoms.
Well, thank you, Jen. For those of you, if you're going to visit her website, can you share your website? And I know she was generous to create coupon Natalie Jill, which gets you a
Yes.
little bit of a discount on there if you put Natalie Jill. But what is your website, Jen, so people can
Uh,
find and take a look?
JenAmber.com is the website. And with Natalie Jill, you're gonna get 10% off.
Amazing. And I'll put all
Yeah.
that in the show notes. Thank you so much, Jen, for your
Thank
help
you,
with us
Natalie.
today. Thank you.
I appreciate you.